We are going to replace this toilet. There was nothing wrong with this toilet. It just doesn't flush very well. So we're installing a pressure assisted toilet made by Kohler. We're going to start off by taking the bolts that are right here out, and they're on both sides of the toilet. One there and one on the other side. We shut our water off, which is right there to the toilet. And we'll also be replacing this because I got one that's not so rigid. This is an old style, it's hard. I'm going to put a bendable one in there to the new toilet. Here's the toilets in a box. It's a Kohler. That is the tank. Inside that tank is a pressure assisted apparatus. It is amazing when you see how it flushes. It flushes like a commercial toilet does. This is actually a commercial grade toilet, but I'm installing it in the house. Back at the toilet, there is some existing water in there, which we'll just take out in a minute. But right now, we'll take this off. Alright, you take your screwdriver and you just pop that off. And there it is. You do it on the other side too. It's the same thing. Right there. So, these just, you can usually get these off by hand. But before I do that, I'm going to get rid of that water in there just by, the toilet's already flushed, it won't flush anymore. See, nothing. Water's been shut off, I'm just going to scoop it out of there. Stand by. Some of the things you're going to need for this job, some people use a wax ring. This is an alternative to a wax ring. I use it on one of my other toilets. It even says right there, better than a wax ring. I think they are, but that goes on the bottom of the toilet. You'll see when I take it off. And here's the bendable hose I got to connect to the toilet here when it comes time to. This bends, that does it. This is rubber. Pretty cheap stuff. Now you're going to want to get an adjustable wrench. When I put this on here, I'm going to untighten it, but I only hold the camera with one hand. But you want to hold this with both hands. One to hold this because you don't want that pipe to break, because if it does, water's going to start shooting in the house. That's the only valve that shuts it off here at the bathroom level. Still will be a lot of water before I get it shut off. So I'm going to go ahead and unloosen that. But I'm going to shut the camera off and hold it with both hands. Now I just took it off. This just comes off and slides up, and then of course you can see water coming from the bowl. There's clean water in there, so you'll see some water dripping. There is always a little residual water in the bottom of the bowl. This is a wet job. You are going to get a little wet. That's why you want to put towels down when you're working on this type of job. But you see there, this just slides up, and then they just move this out of the way. Just right there, you can see the separation. Now, once we got this one off down here, we got to unscrew the top one. It's pretty much hand tight, but to do that, you got to take one hand here and hold it in here, and then hold this part of the inner part of the toilet still and untighten it. Untighten this right here. Like I said, usually they're just hand tight, and then that we'll be able to eliminate this piece here. Okay, we got these off on both sides. Now the toilet's disconnected. That's it. And all you do is stand over it like this and just pick it straight up. And it's just a little heavy, but that's what we're going to do. The toilet that we purchased did not come with a seat, so I'm just going to, it's an oval, just like this is oval. So I'm just going to pop these off. Now all you do is go back here, just pop off by hand. There's a screw there. This one just pops up the same way. Pop up, and then you unscrew them, but you got to hold the bottom right here. It's just very simple. So you just use a screwdriver. Sometimes you can do it by hand just to hold that in place, and then reach down here. And you see up there, there's just a little hand tight plastic nut. You just unscrew it by hand. That's it. And here is our lid. Just after those two, it just come right off. Really simple stuff. Not hard to do at all. That's what it looks like once you take it off. That's your drain. It flushes normally. You can see where the line was, where it was sitting. And then these that are sticking up, that's where it screws down to. And that's it. I mean, it's only held down by those two screws, and then that water line is connected to it. And that's it. It comes right up. Normally there's a wax ring on here. There was on this toilet. I'm replacing it with the other one. There's a rubber ring. They're better. I've already used them before. They work fine. I'm going to clean this area up a little bit and then we'll keep going. The other thing I wanted to mention was before I got started, I had taken a measurement, and it's from the wall. You don't do it from the baseboard. You do it from the wall out. The toilet can be on there, and you'll just measure to this first, one of these first studs that stick up. Hold the toilet. In this case, it's a foot. That's standard. If yours is bigger, you got to make sure you get a toilet that has the measurement for this. So in this case, I was looking at a standard 12-inch rough in from the wall to there was 12 inches. If it was 15, I'd have to order a toilet made for a 15-inch base to go in to cover the span. But in this case, it was just 12 inches. Alright, this is our bowl. Just opened it up, unboxed it. Looks like that. It's a pretty nice looking bowl there. And of course the tank is in a separate box. We'll get to that next, but I'm going to set the bowl in now. Okay, remember this kit? Well, this kit comes with, instead of a wax ring, it's a rubber spacer. And it comes with a spacer, two things, a spacer and a seal. The blue thing on the top is the seal, and that one on the bottom black is spacer right here. The reason we have that is just right here. It's very simple. If you look at the flange, that's the piece of plastic that's holding these bolts here when we screw our toilet in. If this flange is even with the floor or a 1/4 inch below the floor, which ours is just about a 1/4 inch below, it says to you go ahead and use the spacer. So we'll just put the spacer on over these holes, like that. And then we'll put our rubber seal in. Now the directions would be different. If it was more than a 1/4 inch, it would require another apparatus, which it doesn't look like this thing comes with. If it was below, if this flange was below a 1/4 inch below the floor, but it's not. So if it's even with the floor and a 1/4 inch below, we use the black spacer. So in my case, that's what it was. So just follow the directions on whatever yours is. If you take your toilet off and this is different, just follow the directions. It's pretty easy. This Fluid Master kit right here, this one, it came with these bolts. There were directions inside there. They're brass because it's around water, but I didn't use them. I just left the plastic ones that are on there already. You didn't really need these. You're just doing the same thing. So, but if you want to, you can change them. They're hidden anyway, so you're not going to see them. But those work fine. They're plastic and these are brass. So that's it. And we're going to be ready to put our bowl down. I'm going to pick it up. It's heavy and I can't do the camera work. I'm working by myself. So I'm going to set it down, and there's holes on either side of the toilet where those studs sticking up will just fit right in, and the toilet will seat right there. And this is like the wax ring seal. This is rubber. You don't have to deal with all that wax, and it's better for, you have room for some errors with this. With a wax ring, you got one chance. Once you squish that toilet down, something's wrong, and you got to take it off. You got to replace the whole wax ring. That's why I like these better. That one is made by Fluid Masters. I just unboxed it completely. It's pretty lightweight. It doesn't. I left the tank's not on it yet. The tank is separate. But here's the toilet. That's what it looks like. And then when I slide it down, I'm going to slide it down right over those holes right there. I showed you that just a few minutes ago. And then we'll just bolt it down to the floor. It's just really hand tight. It's not anything, no big deal. Just want to show you the bottom of the toilet tipped on its side, and you can see how this protrudes a little bit like that. So that way when we set it down over our spot here, let me pull this back up, it goes down inside there real good. So when you flush, you get a good flush and nothing leaks around the edges. Everything is too, this toilet, like I said, is a pressure assisted one, the tank. Special tank, special apparatus inside. I'll show you that in a minute. But when you flush this toilet, it really flushes, and it uses less water. This one only uses 1 gallon of water per flush, which we're in Georgia, I think is 1.6 or less. Any other toilet's considered illegal in this state. But you'll see how it works once we get it put in all the way. It's fantastic. And like I said, this toilet kept clogging a lot. Not this one, the other one kept clogging a lot. And just didn't have the power. Down there, it's the kids' bathroom, really. They use this in the morning. Alright, I just set it down and just hand tighten those real good. You don't really need to go any tighter than hand tight. And then I'll put the caps on to cover up the bolts there, the nuts. And just go in there like that. I wanted to show you something too. When you put these caps back on the bottom to hold the toilet to the floor, make sure you remember to put this on there too. Because when you put that on there and then you screw that down, that is what holds that cover, the decorative cover over, because it snaps onto this piece right there. Just make sure that you remember to put that down, then screw your nut on, and then put your decorative cover. Just a little advice. Now we're up to the real meat and potatoes of this. This is why this toilet's expensive. This is the bowl, but it's got the power flusher built into it. And the way they make them, you can't buy an attachment for your regular toilet to make it a power flusher. If they made them, you could, but they just don't make them to fit. This bowl's just a little bit too big, so the power flusher won't fit into a standard bowl. So if you come up with a way to do that, they probably got a patent on it. Just where you could go buy something for 40, 50 bucks and adapt it to your regular toilet, you'd be a multimillionaire. But they've got this pretty market wrapped up where you have to buy their tank. It's especially fit and size to this tank on all these pressure assisted flush toilets. I just opened it up here at the top, and you see that's the apparatus, what it looks like right there inside this bowl. And they gave us some stuff. It's fine. This did not come with a seat again. If I didn't tell you already, we're just going to use our other one. It's an oval. It should fit. If it doesn't, I'll have to buy one, but it should fit. And I'm hoping that this is all in there in the tank. And I don't have to do anything else but just put the tank on. We'll see. Yeah, it is. That's what it looks like inside. Flush mate. That's the inside of the tank here on the toilet. I haven't taken it out yet of the box, but that's what it is. So we're going to do that now. I just brought the tank inside, and as you can see, it's wider than the average tank. There's my hand right there, and it's wider than your average toilet tank. But that's what makes it such a powerful flush right there. This system, the way it's made, I read about it. It's pretty cool how it works. This is what it looks like on the bottom. And you just set that down and make your adjustments and tighten it up. As it says, there's not a whole lot to it. I mean, he just came with some directions and a couple parts. It's not really a hard job to do. One important point I wanted to make: when you look at the bottom of the tank, you're going to see these rubber grommets here. They look like they're made to hold the toilet on, but they're not. They're rubber. They are, though, however, made when you put this tank up on top of your toilet. You got to have a little space in here, and that's going to fill that gap. So you want to take these and put them all the way to the top. One of them was all the way to the top. That's what gave me the indication. The rest of them need to be all the way up. But you put those all the way up, because when you slide this on, you need that so it's not porcelain on porcelain. So, and the directions aren't very clear about that most of the time, because you have professional plumbers installing this and they already know, so the directions don't include that. But that's what that's for. And I thought it was supposed to be there for something, because they just look too significant of a piece to just be sitting on there, and that's what they are. They're spacers. You just push them all the way, just screw them all the way to the top. So when you slide this on, and I'll show you when it's on there, how it sits on the porcelain up on top of there. Now I just slid the tank on the back of the toilet. There's 3 holes, and look, if you go down this crevice here, you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, there's those grommets those rubber grommets. I haven't tightened it down yet, but you're going to tighten them down, and you want them there because you don't want porcelain on porcelain. You want that rubber there. That's it. This is the toilet we're working with, and we're to the point of the instructional video where we're putting the tank on. Just to let you know, it came with 3 washers and 3 bolts, brass. So we're going to screw those on in the 3 spots, and then we're going to make adjustments to each one as we go to make the top of the toilet level. To where we get it where it's level. We'll just keep tightening the one on the left, and then the one on the right, and the one in the back until the toilet's level. Well, I got it on there, and I think it's level, and I dropped this little level on there, and if you can see right there, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it is level. See that? Bubbles right there in the middle. Now we're to the portion of our video. I just put my lid back on and just use the old lid seat cover from the old toilet. It fits fine. So it just uses the same pieces, and I just slide it in there and I'm gonna screw it on there and just basically make it hand tight, and that's it. We're almost done. Alright, moment of truth. We're all hooked up. This is what a pressure assisted toilet flush sounds like. Pretty amazing, huh? I don't think we'll have any clogs, and we're using less water. But that pretty much evacuates anything in that bowl. I think you could flush a pair of pants down there. Try one more time. See how it recovers. And then I'm going to hit the button just for y'all again. Ready? Pretty impressive. That's how to do it. Get yourself a Kohler pressure assisted flush. A little over $300 for the toilet and the tank.